want to talk? So let's talk. Here. Talk. You want to talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk.
Good evening and welcome, my friends. It's time for Talk to Solomon. That's me, Stan Solomon. I'm the host.
I'm Chief Steve Davis, the in-studio co-host.
And our guest of honor is the one and only, but never lonely, Larry Pratt, because he always has anti-gun people to talk to. Hello, Larry.
Hello, Stan and Chief. Good to be with you.
I must tell you that every week the news is such that our conversation becomes absolutely essential. But I think we should start with the discussion of the senator from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, who has said, even though Tues has left the sinking ship, he never should have been on it to begin with, that he's going to bring this background check bill back up again. What are you hearing?
They're looking for ways to do it, and I don't think we are out of the woods. The good news is that we've got a number of Democrats now locked in. Well, as much as anybody can lock a politician in. 4 of them voted right when the Senate voted. We lost a handful of Republicans that we expected to lose, but I think that's not likely to change much unless we even get one of them back, which I doubt. They're pretty liberal. So the situation is they're going to try to find a way to have a vote where they only need 51 votes. The way Harry Reid structured this thing was that every vote, whether it be to proceed, whether it be to bring up the bill itself, on any amendments, everything be 60 votes. And he had a reason for that. He was concerned that Senator Thune's bill might be made as an amendment, and he knew that Senator Thune has a majority, over 50 votes, for that bill of his. The bill would make it so if it were law, and say you lived in Wyoming, had a Wyoming driver's license, you could fly into New York City. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could fly into New York City and you could carry a concealed firearm because you had that Wyoming driver's license. Wyoming's one of 4 states where that's all you need to, you don't even need the driver's license in Wyoming. You just carry the gun concealed and you're good to go. Perfectly legal. Nobody sits in judgment over whether you want to be able to protect your life with a gun. New York City, of course, is just the opposite, except maybe for a few plainclothes policemen. There's probably nobody on any given day carrying a concealed firearm other than the crooks. And they seem to like it that way because they never changed the law. But that's what had them so exercised that if they had had a simple 50-vote threshold, 51-vote threshold, Senator Thune's measure might have gone on to the anti-gun bill. The anti-gun bill then would have gone over to the House. We're not really sure what would happen there because John Boehner is the Speaker. And John Boehner is such a phenomenon of nature that I'm told that zoologists have come up with a new phylum that they've named after him. It's a creature that walks upright, but it doesn't have a backbone. So whether the House would have stripped out the anti-gun language and just left the Thune measure is open to question, but that certainly could have happened. And had that happened, the anti-gun bill would have come back to the Senate as a pro-gun bill, which the Senate does have the votes to vote on. So Reid could not allow an up or down vote on that with just a mere majority, and so he set it at 60. Well, the vote requirement being 60, he didn't have the votes to get even a quote-unquote watered-down gun control bill through that Manchin and Tues had put forth. Tues hopefully has gotten the message. He had an enormous outpouring from people in Pennsylvania saying, we hate your bill, and if you're not careful, we're going to hate you. So he's apparently, and hopefully for real, abandon ship. And Manchin's now on his own. Whether he can find some other Republican that would be capable of even trying to con other Republicans is kind of open to doubt right now. But if it's just a simple majority vote, then we could be in trouble again. So we're just going to have to watch this thing, I'm afraid, till the end of the year to see what happens.
All right, let me, first of all, Chief, a comment?
Just like to comment on the strategy that's taking place here and make sure everyone's aware that here's what we're facing. We're facing politicians that don't really care about the American people. But on the left, we see where this bill lost its muster and where the GOP would have then just said, and which they did, when this bill lost its muster, the GOP went on to something else. But the Democrats come right back at it. They're going to come right back at it. They're never going to stop till our guns are taken away. On the right side, on the GOP side, I should say, we're looking at people that really don't care whether or not our guns are taken away as long as they get reelected into office. So we must be very vigilant and very diligent in keeping on top of this so that our politicians don't take away our rights.
Well said.
One follow-on, if I could, to that. We warned the Republicans that if you vote to proceed, and some of them did, who did subsequently vote against the gun control measure, but if you vote to proceed, if you vote to break the filibuster, you are going to really make a painful mess for yourself. You're going to have to vote and vote and vote and vote on this, and you're going to spend the rest of the year with Harry Reid running a bribe-a-thon, trying to peel off one Republican after another until he can get his gun control through. Whereas if they'd done what we told them would have been the wise course of action, they'd have had the one vote on the filibuster, which was the motion to proceed. It would have, had they voted right, they would have kept it locked up, and that would have been that. There wouldn't have been any more votes because there wouldn't have been any way under parliamentary procedures to bring it out on the floor. But no, they had said, well, we just wanted to have a vote. Well, it's going to have a vote, all right, and another, and another, and another. They got themselves into a mess.
Well, hopefully they'll resolve that situation in the right way, and I think Reid still has the problem that if he goes to the 50 vote thing, then you could easily get the Tues amendment or the Tues concept back in the bill, right?
That is our hope, that is something that will deter him. But he's a clever guy, and he's already made some rulings that are unprecedented. So we're convinced that we're not out of the woods yet.
Well said. All right, but we got other things to cover. In New Orleans, see, I can say that right because I'm sober. In New Orleans, a black man ran up to a white man with a shotgun in the black man's hands and said, "Give me your money." The white man said, I'm not sure what, probably something profane, grabbed the shotgun out of the hand of the black man, and you saw a chase where the black man was running and the white man was running behind him. Now, you think that would be the story, and it was because that was all caught on video. But 5-10 minutes later, the black man came back around with a friend in a car and said, "Hey, you dropped your phone, I'll trade you your phone for my gun." And then the white guy proceeded to break the windows out of the car until the car left. He didn't get his phone back, by the way. So now you have thugs wanting a law saying you can't steal a gun from a thug. It ain't right.
Well, it looked like the victim was able to communicate even without his telephone.
Now, I'm not wild about grabbing, the business end of a shotgun.
That's
folks,
pretty risky.
Giving up, accepting whatever the bad person is going to do to you is not a very good strategy. But we have a police officer here who's done a lot of investigations. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, if you think that your life is in jeopardy, you have to take some kind of action, because if you're going to be shot and killed, it's better to go down swinging than to go down without swinging. But the second thing is, I'd like to know what this robber's thoughts would have been if he thought that person was armed before he even approached him. It may have been an avoidable outcome before it even got started.
Yeah, I don't know. What are the rules in New Orleans? Are you allowed to carry concealed in Louisiana?
You can get a permit. It's fairly easy. and then you're good to go. Actually, I believe it's a shall issue state now.
Right, so you have to have a reason not to. The police have to have a reason not to issue.
They would have to find some criminal disqualifying act on your record if it's a shall issue state, and they can't just invent a reason. They have to find a good one.
Well, that's good. That means that if you voted for Obama, you certainly could be, your intellect could be questioned, if not your morality. All right, let's go to story number 73. And I think you talked about this last time. In the great state of Connecticut, not so great. In the great state of Colorado, not as bad as Connecticut, the morons in charge have passed onerous gun control bills that may or may not pass constitutional muster. But in the meantime, companies that manufacture and or distribute firearms are saying, screw you, we're leaving. And Texas has got a smile, everything's big in Texas, and right now their smiles are really big because a lot of these people are going to move to Texas, right or wrong?
If they don't move to Texas, they might move to Oklahoma, they might move to any number of states that have very pro-business and pro-Second Amendment legislatures and voters. So they have options, and Magpul, I think or MagSafe, one of the two names, company that has 600 employees, the day that the vote was cast in Colorado and signed into law, they said, that's it, we're out of here. Now, I don't know if they've actually left yet, but I know that that was the day they began the process of officially contacting lots of legislators and other state officials that had already contacted them saying, hey, if this happens and you said you would leave, we'd love you to have you come to our state. Indeed, 600 jobs, that's, even in Texas, that might be a pretty nice thing to happen.
Well, people don't realize the money involved. The chief's been involved in putting budgets together. If somebody walks away with 1 or 2 or 3% of your gross income, I mean, you're talking about chaos, right, Chief?
Well, also, this is a business. They pay a lot of business taxes, unlike a family or a family-owned business, a small business. So it's a lot of money and a lot of influence. And so more power to them. Go to Texas and be happy.
Well, the fact is, we're talking collectively, all these gun manufacturers in these various states like Connecticut and Colorado, you're talking thousands of jobs, billions of dollars of revenue, gross revenue, and tens of millions of dollars, or even hundreds of millions of dollars that states will lose. In these budget times, that's huge.
There's some major firearms manufacturers in Connecticut, and if they pick up and leave, Remington comes to mind, and I think maybe... yeah, so you've got, these are big names, big companies. They may not be exclusively located in Connecticut. They are very big, and so they may have already branched out into other places. But their headquarters are there, and there's a lot of employees that are there. And it might be that this is the time they decide they're going to automate their manufacturing system. In New Hampshire, I went to a Sig Sauer factory, and it was notable for its almost total silence. Things were just going along automated. A piece of metal goes down a particular track and makes a turn, and something happens to it, and then it moves on farther, and there were hardly any people involved at all, and the ones that were involved were certainly not in a union. And so that, I think, might be the future of some of these older manufacturing companies that have been, there's expenses involved in moving or even in retooling. But if you're going to have such a hostile working environment as Connecticut is providing, it may be that that's the impetus to say, okay, we're going to get all that modern equipment, and we're going to be in a non-union state, or at least a state that's open either way, a right-to-work state. We'll be in Oklahoma, we'll be in Texas, we'll be in Idaho, but we're not going to be here.
Well, the bottom line is, this could, they're talking about all their quote-unquote needs. You have to pay for police and fire. You have to pay for all these things that these people want, and when you affect your tax base negatively, you're putting yourself in a hole, maybe a very deep hole. And by the way, you've got Ruger, Colt, and Stag all in Connecticut. You're talking maybe of the majority of the gun manufacturers in this country.
Well, I don't know if it's a majority, but it's a very significant part. You've also got SIG, you've got Glock that assembles here, and a number of other companies. But you're right, it's a big deal. And we're talking thousands of jobs, with the economic activity that's generated by those jobs, the taxes that are paid by those employees, not to mention, as you've already pointed out, the taxes paid by those companies. And that could end up leaving rather precipitately.
Not to mention the sales taxes on the sale of their items.
Right.
You know, I think we're going to see, and this is a longer discussion we have time for today, but I think we're going to see two Americas. We're going to see a free or freer America, and we're going to see a less free or non-free America. And it's basically the separation between the red and the blue states. Chief?
I think that's a great plan. I'm ready to go. Let's just make sure we control the Electoral College when we do it.
Well, I'm all for it. I think that, you know, you can talk about states like Texas and Florida and Ohio that can be moved certainly with some input into the more conservative column, and then give them California, New York, and the like. I think we could take back Colorado personally. It wouldn't take much. All we have to do is have some heterosexuals move there, and things would change. Did I say that? Oh.
And I think the states can actually contribute a lot to this movement, because there are now a number of them that are considering actively in their legislatures legislation that would, upon becoming law, nullify various federal actions, and particularly in the Second Amendment area. Some of them would simply not allow local state authorities to cooperate with the feds if they were doing something unconstitutional, like grabbing guns. But others take a more proactive posture and say it will be illegal to do that, meaning they would arrest you, a federal official, if you come into the state and try to confiscate people's guns or whatever else may be stipulated in one of these nullification laws. And so it's the very strong possibility that nullification is going to become a bigger factor that I think will be the teeth in what you've pointed to, the development of a two Americas, which could happen really within a decade, I would think, because once these laws go into effect, the feds would have to decide, do I send in the 82nd Airborne to enforce some relatively minor law, or do I just say never mind?
Well, I think that's an interesting observation. Chief, talk to us about what we who believe in freedom, need to do so it's not just one of us dealing with the 82nd or the SWAT team.
Well, I served with the 82nd, which it's still called America's Guard of Honor. So the thought of Obama sending the military is very scary, but that's why he wants his own civilian police force, so he doesn't have to call in the military to take us over. But my first thought is that we need to support our county sheriffs. The only law enforcement officer elected by the people are the county sheriffs, and the only law enforcement officers that today are really standing up against some of these unconstitutional measures are the county sheriffs. The second thing is there are a lot of city policemen. Now, the difference really is, though, that the chiefs of police are appointed by mayors, so they're not as vocal, and they can be fired any day by the mayor. Sheriffs are elected by the people, can't be fired. But we need to make contact and make friendly arrangements with our local city police, so that they understand what's going on, and that if something does happen, like, a couple examples are like New York City, where the police went around and confiscated firearms unconstitutionally because people had supposedly some type of a mental background in their medical file. And also we saw after the Boston Marathon bombing, the police actually making people stay home or making people stay off the streets without any real valid reason for that. So we have some, what I believe, unconstitutional measures that would never be imposed by constitutional, law-abiding sheriffs. So first thing is support your local sheriff. Second thing is make friends with your local city police and get them up to speed with what's going on, because the city police oftentimes don't read the Constitution. They follow on the guidelines of the prosecutor and Supreme Court rulings. Supreme Court's not right all the time. And the prosecutors, if they're working for Obama or something like that, they're going to give bad information. So that's my advice for the people.
Chief, it was even worse in Boston. It was everything you said. And then while the lockdown was in place and people were confined to their homes, just totally unconstitutionally, a door-to-door search was carried out and people were ordered out of their homes while the homes were inspected without warrant. That is just so over the top. Now, it was Boston, so nobody got shot. But you try that in Tulsa, you probably wouldn't turn out so well.
Well, we don't want our law enforcement officers hurt any more than we want our rights ignored. And we did have a person or people, and they killed one, or one was killed, and they've gotten one. They stopped looking for all the others, or at least somewhat. And we all know that these two morons didn't do this on their own. These two low-life piece of crap Muslim morons are part of a larger group, and this piece of crap low-intelligence Muslim president won't let us get to the fact, and a piece of crap low-life Muslim federal judge is the one that demanded that this guy get his Miranda rights. Did I say Muslim enough times?
Yeah, but I just want to add one thing to this. I want to really compliment the Boston police because they were very organized and very good, and no one can really predict how someone's going to set off a bomb or kill somebody. Only the criminals know how they're going to do all that. But what I'm saying is that oftentimes the city police, like in Boston or anywhere else, they're given information by the prosecutor, and they say, go do this, it's legal, I've already checked it out, and the police are just going to follow that. They're not yet, in most places, up to speed with reviewing the Constitution or saying, I think this needs another look or something like that. So that's why I think we've got to make a better team with our city police.
Very good point.
We're running out of time. Larry, let me just hand this time to you. Tell people how to get in touch with your organization and support what you're doing, and also whatever else you think we need to know about what's happening regarding our rights guaranteed by the Second Amendment.
Well, we're at gunowners.org on the web, and you can join by going to gunowners.org, our email alert brigade, if you will. Sign up for these free alerts that come out with an email embedded in them that can be sent to the appropriate member of Congress. And it was that kind of input that I think finally took the starch out of Senator Toomey's sails. He was... in one day, a little bird told us, there were some 45,000 contacts that came into his office in the run-up to this vote on his anti-gun bill. That was email, telephone calls, postcards, letters, you name it, even personal visits, I guess. And it was almost all, 99.9% against what he was doing. And that's why it looks as if he's bailed out, and he's talked about, well, it's time to move on. We made our attempt, and that didn't work, so we've got other things to do. Let's move on. Well, a good part of what he was being drugged with were the folks that were getting our alerts, that knew exactly what to say because we had put an email embedded in the alert they got, made it easy to send it off to his office. So it was just a matter of a few seconds, and people were able cumulatively to have a really big impact on Toomey. And if we've got him peeled off permanently, then the bipartisan phony nature of that thrust that the Democrats had goes by the way.
And that's where it should go, by the way. By the way, Larry will be back with us in 2 weeks. We look forward to always getting updates from Larry, but we need him working 24/7, which is what he does. His wife let me know. She doesn't know what he looks like anymore, but she does remember that his voice. It's kind of unique. Larry, God bless you. Thanks for the good work.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you guys.
All righty. We'll be back shortly, folks. Stay tuned. I like to eat. Do you like to eat? We all do. And usually we run to the grocery store, we run to the convenience store, or we have something in the fridge. But power's been out in parts of this country in the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to come down the pike economically. Smart people are putting in food. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves is a line of foods that you can put away that will last for a very long time. You know, they say eat what you store and store what you eat. This is great tasting stuff, healthy for you, a full line. You go to our website, cpnlive.com, and click on the button for Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves and see all the different things we have. This is good tasting food. It's reasonably priced. It will last. And it's worth its weight in gold if a problem arises. I know you don't think there's going to be anything that goes wrong. Actually, you do. This is smart. This is smart insurance. This is smart preparation. This is smart thinking. You have kids, you have a spouse, you have parents, you have dependents, you have an appetite. All those things can be addressed by a frugal but smart investment in Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves. Try them out. You will be tickled to death with the taste of them. You know what? In many cases, people start to eat this and they think, heck, this tastes better and costs less than what you're going to the grocery store to buy. cpnlive.com, check it out. Hey, my name is Stan Solomon, and you know if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I'll only tell you the truth because I'm a Republican, not a Democrat. Democrats always lie. Republicans only lie half the time. I don't lie at all. This is the Fuel Mule. It's an extraordinary product that was developed by a friend of mine, an engineer, and it increases the fuel mileage on your vehicle. If you have a combustion engine, this will increase your mileage by 10 to 20%. It bolts around your fuel line. You can install it yourself or have your mechanic do it. It is an extraordinary item, and it flat works. I've been using it for more than 10 years. It's increased my mileage on every vehicle I put it on, and by the way, it will last forever. You can get rid of your vehicle, just take it off and put on the next one. Go to cpnlive.com. You'll have more information there. You can order it right there. We absolutely guarantee you'll be satisfied. The Fuel Mule. It's a way to kick down your cost of fuel and kick up your mileage. Don't you love the name? I thought of it. The Fuel Mule. Let me ask you a question. Do you like being sick? I have in my hand an incredible product. It's called TR10 Supercolloidal Silver. TR10 stands for a trace to the negative 10th power. The particles in this silver product are 6 to 8 angstroms, 6 to 8 10 billionths of a meter. Now listen to me. Silver has been the magic bullet for all of human existence. The Egyptians used silver instruments. We use silverware. They put silver in your teeth because nothing can grow on silver. Silver will kill anything but liberalism. I'm working on that. This product, you go to cpnlive.com, buy 1 quart of this product. It will last you for a very long time. Anytime you feel like you've been exposed to something bad, take some of this product, spray it in your mouth, or take a little bit and gargle it, swallow it. It will kill any pathogen. The average antibiotic kills 10 to 20 different pathogens. This product will kill 700 plus. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your doctor a favor. He's tired of seeing you. Get Supercolloidal Silver. Go to cpnlive.com, order the product. It's $29.95 plus shipping. I think it's $39.95 delivered any place in America right to your door. It's worth 10 times that. Check it out. If you're not 100% happy, just return it and we'll give you your money back. Do you like being healthy? I do. In fact, this product, which I've been taking for years now, is absolutely the answer. Now, you may not believe it, but I'm actually 21, plus tax, of course. This product has 146 different healthful nutrients in it, and it's liquid, so it's bioavailable. It tastes great, and it's sugar-free. 1 ounce of Sonic Life each day will help you to maintain and enhance your health. It's the kind of a gift, well, that you'll thank your mom for, your husband for, your wife for, your kids for, whoever you give it to, they're going to say thank you, and you are going to enjoy the benefits of having all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the nutrients your body needs in one very reasonably priced product. Just go to cpnlive.com and everything's right there. You'll be able to read all the ingredients. The price is right there, a flat price delivered to your door anywhere in the United States of America. Sonic Life is a gift, a great gift. Give it to yourself. I do.